There were 54 total offensive plays for Michigan. 46 of those 54 players were running plays. That is 85%. 85%. And Michigan took it to the best rushing defense in the country and won. Michigan ended the day with 227 total yards on the ground. That is 81 more yards than the most that they had let up all year, and that was their first game against West Virginia. If you added up the rushing yards from their last 6 opponents, that would reach the number of yards that Michigan was able to put up against the Penn State defense. Those teams were Maryland, Indiana, OSU, UMass, Northwestern, and Iowa. In the second half, Michigan really took control of the game, and while they didn't put up a lot of points, they just pounded away at Penn State and did not give them any breathing room. A great depiction of that boa constrictor that people have been talking about all throughout the season, and they did it against one of the better teams in the country. The Michigan offense went up against the Penn State defense and ran it over.
And they'll give it. No, it's McCarthy running the ball.
And over.
Corum looking for the first down.
And over.
Corum with a hole down the sideline. Gonna get there, Blake the Great.
But I think you get the point. Even though the final score was 24-15, it felt like a bigger win than just 9 points. Great job by the entire team and the coaching staff, but special shout out to Sharon Moore for stepping up and doing such a great job. I cannot imagine being in his position where I'm sure they talked about throughout the week preparing for the possibility that Harbaugh could be suspended for the game, but not knowing that until less than 24 hours before kickoff. That magnitude of pressure would be enormous. So great job to him. You saw how emotional he was after that game. I hope he is on this staff for a long time to come. Great job, coach. By the way, talking about favorite plays and trying to do that each week, this one for me, again, was easy as it was Grant's defensive tackle against Katron Allen. The big man can move. I mean, that was great. That was probably a touchdown saving tackle. But besides that, the speed of that big man, great job. Love to see that. Also gives me the crazy idea of should the offense put him in at fullback for a couple snaps, because dude's like a wrecking ball and got some wheels. My main concern going into the game was around Michigan's offensive line. And while in the first half, you definitely saw them vulnerable against the pass rush of the Nittany Lions, the offensive line came together, did what they needed to do for the 8 passes that were thrown for the entire game, but then they really locked down on that run blocking. And even though they didn't have a ton of huge breakaways, they did what they needed, and they just had long drives, especially in the second half, burn that clock and help that team win that game. Say what you want to about the running backs. They did their jobs too, but don't forget it was behind that offensive line, and they stepped up when they were needed. Great job, fellas. Going up against the nation's top rushing defense and coming away with that win, that is a tall task, and they came out victorious. So people are already coming out and discrediting this win for Michigan, not because of any stealing signs or anything of that notion, but because now all of a sudden Penn State's not a good team. So if you want to do that for Michigan, then you got to do that for Ohio, because guess what? They only had an 8-point win at home against the same team, and everybody thought it was amazing. If you take that away, what? Ohio's next best win is against a 3-loss Notre Dame team? So does that make them look great? No, you can't have both ways. Either Penn State's a good team or Penn State's not a good team. Either Michigan's win was good or Ohio's win wasn't. So make up your minds, people. So Michigan went on the road and won in a hostile environment, and they didn't do it passing the ball, which they've been doing all throughout the year, which is great because they are attacking opponents' strengths and still beating them. So whatever you throw at this team, if you try to take away one of their elements, they're able to switch gears and beat you in different ways when they need to. It was a great win for 999, and upcoming as they go to Maryland is a chance for 1,000 for the Michigan football program. We'll, of course, talk about more of that later this week. I hope you all enjoy the win, enjoy your week, and until we connect for the preview episode of Maryland, as always, go Blue.